So I just finished recording with the Amateur Skeptics for their podcast number 67, and that'll be out on Wednesday as a podcast and then later on their YouTube channel. But while I was in the podcast, my friend Rob, who lives in Iowa, he sent me a message. Obama is trying to remove "In God We Trust" from coins. Isn't that great? Right? And I sent him a smiley face, and then he says, I get $50 worth of $2 bills and scrawl "Queer as a $2 bill, we love too" on them each month. Right? Well, it sounded like awesome news that somebody might be removing "In God We Trust" from currency. In fact, hold on a second. Just for old time's sake, here's a dollar bill, and here's a marker. Alright, so got a dollar bill right there. Here's marker. "In God We Rust." There you go. And Rob has seen me do that many times on my channel. Just go ahead and search the word "blasphemy" on my channel, or "In God We Rust." Either way, you'll see a whole bunch of videos of me doing that to currency. And I was very interested in what he was saying. So I looked it up, and I found that no, Obama's not trying to remove "In God We Trust" from currency. It was just a whole bunch of posturing from Republicans, and by the time the news gets all the way down to Iowa, of course, in little towns, they don't get their news, firsthand. A lot of it goes kind of like Chinese whispers from mouth to mouth to mouth, and when it got to him, it was that Obama was the one who was trying to remove it. No, Republicans just took a vote in Congress in order to make the point of reaffirming the national motto, which is "In God We Trust," and something like 390 to 9. That was how the vote went down. So yeah, it passed. I wonder what the feelings of the 9 people who didn't want it as our motto were. But anyways, they were probably cognizant of the posturing that happens every presidential cycle when one side of the aisle wants to prove that the other candidates are godless. Because being godless is horrible, right? It's horrible. It's the worst thing in the world to not have God, right? Well, in researching this, I found a letter written by a certain congressman, and in it he wrote this letter to President Obama, but of course it's an open letter because he's posturing, right? The posturing doesn't work unless everyone else can read what he wrote to the president. And in it he says, "President Reagan once warned that if we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under." What I have to say to that is, play to those politics and use those tactics while they work. But I will never vote for anyone who demeans people of no faith. I will never vote for anyone who, like Congressman J. Randy Forbes, thinks that it's so important to put God with a capital G on our currency because it's another way of posturing and showing that those that are in that majority religion are the correct ones. I'm going to leave you all a link in the description box to the letter that Congressman Forbes wrote to the president. He did intend for everyone to read it. It's an open letter. But what I want you all to think about is, when he uses God with a capital G, it is the Christian God. And if you disagree with me, please tell me. But read his letter and then try to understand where we've been coming from when we do this In God We Rust campaign. When we don't put under God in our pledge when we recite it. Try to understand that it's fucktards like Congressman Forbes that are the reason why we are doing this. Because they actually represent a good portion of our country. People who think that their God is the one true God, and that all other people that worship other gods or no God are lesser people. And that without their God being branded on everything, our country is going to fail. These are the people that make the world a little bit less diverse through peer pressure and fear tactics. And I'm living right now for the day that this kind of politics doesn't work anymore.